Alright, I think I am live. Give it a moment for people to join. It's okay, I gotta fix the streaming software here proactively. There we go. Hope everyone is going to be doing all right tonight. Gotta get the bags. Let's see here. All right. Get started on all of this. Make sure all the camera angles are working still. Yeah, okay, good. All right. Hello, Wyoming. How are you doing? I am getting a late start on everything. We took the kids to the essentially what is the county fair, although I think it's technically a city fair. But, you know, to the fairgrounds to go ride rides and eat corn dogs and all the rest of it. So kind of a late night getting started for me. There's the next minifig. Start building windows here. Glad to get back into building the castle. I started doing, part of last week I did the started doing design on the drive-in theater concept, building that in the Lego software. I got a couple of live streams doing that. One of them was a nighttime stream just because I didn't really want to quit working on it at the time. I've done a little bit of working on it in my off time as well. So I'm making progress on it slowly. Just had dinner. Yep. Now my dinner was a Polish sausage at the fair. Not exactly the most healthy dinner, but it was okay. I've realized I am having a lot of fun doing the design stuff, especially on streaming. It's a little bit easier for me to kind of think out loud as well. So it might actually just be a better way of doing streaming rather than just building sets, maybe designing sets. I think once I finish this castle, I'm gonna do some more of that. Oh, jambalaya. Yeah, that's a good dinner. It's been a while since I've had jambalaya. That's delicious. We actually have a couple of really good Cajun restaurants where I live, but nothing better than some homemade jambalaya. Get it just the right level of spice and good mix of chicken and sausage. Jambalaya and a good low country boil are kind of the two ways of combining all the different various meats together. Jambalaya with sausage and chicken and all the rest of it, and then low country boil with crab and shrimp and sausage and potatoes and corn. Some of my favorite types of meals. It's kind of large batch meals like that. And key lime pie for dessert. Man, yeah, that sounds really good. That sounds like a really good dinner. I've gone back to eating only one meal a day, so I try to make sure my dinners are generally not only very good in terms of tasty, but good in terms of healthy as well. Get back to maybe losing some weight like I need to do. Boy, I need a lot of pieces for this step. Alright. This is the connection point for this hinge piece. Yeah, Wyoming, when you're in recovery, it's one of the unfortunate realities of any type of recovery like that is, generally speaking, you're sitting way more than you normally would. I'm a generally chronically overweight person though, for my size even. I could always stand to lose some pounds. Hang on. Yeah, I don't even know what my actual waist size is. It's way bigger than it needs to be, though. My problem is I like food too much. realistically. It'd just be better if I didn't like food as much, but I'm definitely come from an Italian family. Food is kind of a thing. I like to try different types of foods and, you know, have a good meal, but it always ends up being more than I actually need. But good exercise will help as well. And over the past couple of months, just both a combination of heat, just generally being way too warm outside, but also just too many things going on. I haven't been getting as much exercise as I need to either, just in general. So both of those things can help a lot. This was supposed to go like this. It's only 65 there. Well, the weather is beginning to turn here, but it's kind of the thing where it's really nice and cool and perfect weather for the first half of the day, and then it really picks up in the afternoon. It gets hot again. But that's gonna end soon. The Georgia weather doesn't stay hot for long once you get to late September. So I've already gotten out more over the past couple days and went for walks, and haven't gotten back into running yet. I twisted my ankle playing with my kids, so I've been letting that recover a little bit. But I'll end up running again, probably starting next week. And that'll be very nice, getting back into that. Alright, what am I building here? This is like it's going to be a weapons or armor rack or something. I think that's what this is going to be. Something for the armory in the castle here. Instructions say which to choose, a sturdy armet or a nasal helm. I've always fancied a pointed hat. Hot months are July and August, and even then it's only rarely over 90. That would be nice. We're always in the high 90s pretty consistently every day of the month through June, July, and August. So we got 3 solid months of it being extremely warm, and very often most of May and part of September. So realistically more like 4 total months. But we are closer to the equator, so I suppose it makes sense. is right here in this little corner here. It's a little bit hard to get fitted in. There we go. All right, I'm gonna take a brief break. I gotta go check in on something real quick. So I'll go to my be right back screen. All right, I am back. I didn't realize Wyoming that parts of Wyoming were. I guess it makes sense. It's that high. It's kind of probably on par with parts of Colorado. Never considered about what level of sea level it would be at. All right, we got more people. Looks like have joined. All right. Hey, Gingerbeard. Hey, Stairway. Yeah, this castle's beginning to come together a good bit. You can't say you're impressed with the new tree design. Well, it's supposed to be reminiscent of the other black trees from other sets. and it's really not done yet. I think when it's all said and done, it'll look pretty good though. Parts went flying everywhere just then. I thought I was supposed to get 5 of these. How many? 3? Okay, I see. Got myself a little bit confused with the piece count here. So if any of you that are kind of now joined were watching the design live streams the past couple times I was doing them, while I took a break from the castle for a bit, I have revisited parts of the design, have made certain parts certainly better. I kind of rethought certain parts of the water tower design, and the whole thing has come together pretty well. So in a couple of live streams, when the castle here is done, which should probably be maybe another 2 or 3 live streams, I'll probably jump over to doing more of that design work, because it's a lot of fun to do, and I think it works pretty well for the live stream setup. People are a little bit more, I think, engaged in what's going on as well. It can actually be a little bit participatory, which is pretty cool. I think I hear my kid awake and running around downstairs. Let's see what's going on down there. Yep, I hear her now. I'll be right back. Alright, had to chase that kid back into bed. It is the downside of taking kids to the fair and letting them get hopped up on sugar is now they don't want to go to sleep. Kids are fun until they stop doing what they're supposed to be doing. Run the risk of getting themselves into trouble. But no, it's they just get so hopped up on, really it's lemonade, and we don't give them a lot of sweets. Sweets are definitely a treat for them. Lemonade is just pure sugar injection. So, and of course lemonade that you buy at a fair is even worse because it's nothing but sugar. I'm missing a single brick. How am I missing one of these bricks? It's right in here in this bag. It is surprisingly warm up in this loft today. I didn't think it was really that hot outside, but my house seemed to have done a pretty good job absorbing all the heat. Seeing a little bit of ivy or something growing out of this wall, apparently. Oops. One of the things I really like about this design of this model is just how many little nooks and crannies and details there are in it. Quite a lot to make it visually interesting. This stone seems too short to be a proper brick, though at the same time too tall to be a plate. Perhaps I'll call it a block. Is that what they call these? These new slight pieces, they call them blocks now? Goodness, I'm dropping pieces all over the place tonight. Let's see if I can find out where that one went. Some of these pieces drop and they bounce a lot further than you'd think. Oh goodness. This seems to be completely missing. How did I manage that? I want my flashlight for this one. You'd think it couldn't have gone too far. There it is. Alright, get to the last couple pieces on this bag. I might open up one of these minifigures. I didn't open any on the last couple streams that I did. Hey, Zep. To the tree here. Let's see here. This isn't even the tree. This goes over this part. There we go. All right. I'll get us to bag 20. I'll take a moment here to go to a blind bag. Feel what's on the inside, see if we can't figure that out. Make sure it's not a duplicate. Head. This is a weird piece. think this might be the wolf. Trying to see. Yeah, I feel like that has to be the wolf costume. That's me, my prediction. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. Yes. We'll build it real quick. So you bought a few of these off of eBay. Were you buying them as like you already knew what you were getting, or did you buy them as blind bags? There we go. Here's the wolf. Big bad wolf. If you know what you're getting, it's nice, but of course you pay a bit of a premium for that, generally speaking. Learning how to do the feel method. Yeah, not blind. Yeah. Learning how to do the feel method so you can just buy them at the store and get what you want. I tend to buy a bunch of them, and if I get duplicates, I know I can sell them later. But I won't open them. I won't open them if I know I don't have duplicate. And then if I get far enough along where I'm never getting a new one, I'll do the field test at the store and make sure I'm getting one that I actually want. But I've only opened 4 thus far, so that's 4 out of 12. That's a third of the way through. Statistically, I'm likely to hit a duplicate here pretty soon. So if I run the risk of that happening, I'll try to hunt down the ones I want. I really want the knight, it's actually a little kid dressed up as a knight, because it kind of matches the kit I'm currently building here, so. Did I see the update to your Minecraft castle? I saw that you posted an update, but I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I can pull it up real quick and take a look. Sometimes I get the notification on the Discord, and then I don't actually get a chance to get around to actually looking at it. I do have Discord open. So let me jump over. See your update. Oh yeah. That's really coming together. Thing is huge. So here's the question. How long did it take you to do all that? Because you're doing that in adventure mode, right? And if you're doing that in adventure mode, that means you're having to collect all of those resources to build that. Like, the design of building the thing is a feat in and of itself, but the gathering of resources is just as impressive when you're not in creative mode or whatever it's called. You're picking them based on an idea for a diorama of a furry convention? Okay. Well, you can find a lot of stuff for that then. 12 to 15 hours. It's not too bad. Still a good bit of time. As you refine it, that number will continue to tick up, I'm sure. I think I've been collecting these Lego minifigure series for a couple of years now, and I had collected a few of them prior years, but not the entire one. The only ones I'm really concerned about getting a lot of is actually the only time I actually care about duplicates. I'm trying to get a full, more than a full team, but a full team's worth of the baseball player figures they had from previous series. They basically had 2 different baseball teams. And I've gotten one entire team for one of them, but the older and more rare one is still lagging. Still needs a couple of figures. I will ultimately try to build at some point a giant stadium, I'm sure, when I have more space to play around in. But I don't think I can do that right now in my limited space. I'm a little bit curious about Stairway Unicorn's concept for a furry convention diorama. What exactly would that diorama entail? I'm actually planning on opening a second one of those blind bags before the end of the stream. Figured I am due to do 2 of them. Really hoping to get that knight figure though. Had the thought the other day. So one of my random YouTube rabbit hole obsession type things when it comes to YouTube channels that focus on like Japanese culture is the gacha machines. And I think part of that obsession or that rabbit hole that I have goes back to playing the old game Shenmue way back in the day on the Dreamcast, where that was like a mechanic of the game was a gacha system. I started thinking about, it's amazing that there aren't gacha systems in the US. Like, we have gumball machines, but we don't really have like gacha machines, you know, $5 gumball machines essentially, with a little bit more high-end toys. But I thought about it. We actually do. We actually do have exactly that. They're blind bags. They're just like the minifigure blind bags that I just opened from Lego. But there's other blind bags that exist, and like that actually does exist in the US. It just doesn't take the same form. They don't come in the little gacha capsules. So I was like, oh, that does actually exist. But the problem with those is that you generally, like, again, the random nature of it, you have to be okay with spending money to get a duplicate of something. And at a $5 price point, I just don't. That's not very convincing for me, even as someone who likes to buy little trinket stuff just for the heck of it. Get it cheaper, though. I'm sure it could be fun. I'm just not sure that they're as high quality as what you see coming out of the gachas in Japan. He'll be using Eldorado to design it, some large windows, some tables with merch, lots of fursuit minifigures, maybe some room parties, in big air quotes, room parties. Well, it's definitely a unique thing that I've not heard of someone trying to do in Lego before, so you might be the first. Just one of these, okay. My more favored thing, instead of gotcha type capsule toy things, is advent calendars. That's another thing Lego does, and I like advent calendars. You kind of know that you're going to get something good, but you get it doled out over the course of you know, over a month, basically, over 24 days. And I grew up with the ones that you just got chocolate in, but now, of course, again, they sell ones that have all sorts of toys and interesting things in them. And anytime I can source Lego from a different way, or have a different way of engaging with it, it's worth doing, in my opinion. I actually just, down that chain, decided to subscribe myself to one of the kind of building block Lego monthly subscription boxes, just to see what it's like. So signed myself up for those just to see. Figure I might do a video on one at some point or something. Oh, you do it kind of the same dollhouse style as castle. You should make the exterior of the thing like a big furry head. You know, like the big mascot style head. You open it up and it's got stuff on the inside, like a Polly Pocket or whatever those toys were. But the Lego version of it. This building is getting significantly big enough that I'm having to kind of think about where I'm placing it. Get all the parts I need as well. Building up this tree, I'm pretty sure, so I'll rotate that around so I can see it. Might be a little bit in frame for everyone. See here. This is going in here, and then this goes this way. All right. I did the wrong thing. Kind of make assumptions about what I'm building. I look at the instructions, I'm completely wrong. Head shape won't work for the interior. Yeah, and that's fair. Just make it look like a conference hall then. It's the fun of designing, though. You kind of just put together what you think you want to do and how you want it to look, and it's all about your vision and what you want it to do. My recommendation was just kind of a way I would think about doing it potentially, but you should totally do what you want to do. Yeah, I know what assume means. My assumptions are often wrong about things. That's why I try not to operate off of assumptions as much as possible. Because I assume when I operate off of assumptions that I'm going to be wrong. And I likely am. This is kind of interesting thing they're doing for the portcullis here with these brown rollers that are going to kind of guide it. It's kind of interesting. I've never seen that approach done before. Four. Kind of curious how big this gatehouse piece is going to end up being, or section, because it's already almost as tall as the other one, and I feel like I'm still building it. Like, this is the floor, so am I going to have a whole other story on top of this? It's pretty crazy. Boy, you're going to get down to cold weather there, Wyoming. That sounds nice. At nighttime, it gets nice and cool here now. We've actually started sleeping with the windows open. We get a good couple of weeks to about a month of being able to do that before it gets a little bit too cold. Oh, look, we're going to build the drawbridge here. One of the things that is interesting is I've been going through the design process, especially when I was doing the water tower, is I began to realize how much I could think about things I have done in other Lego kits and think, oh, I could apply that to my problem here. And I'm seeing some stuff that I'm doing with this model that I know I'm going to kind of tuck away in the back of my head as I build this. I will reference it later, I'm sure. Maybe not so much with the drive-in theater, because that one's pretty simple overall, but I think there's a couple things here that might be useful for some of my other projects I know I want to do eventually. Actually, with one of the knockoff Lego items, there was the use of a hinge piece as a decorative element, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I'm going to probably utilize that at some point as well, because you kind of always look for a way to do what's essentially like the Lego version of kit bashing. But it's hard to do all the time, because sometimes you just don't have the right look, and you need something that looks a little bit odd, but when put in a repetitive pattern or something ends up looking really good, and that would definitely be one. Oh, I just did that wrong. Get my brick separator for this. Alright. I don't know what I'm building part of the mechanism here, I'm pretty sure. Kind of looks like it might be like a counterweight piece or something. Not entirely clear. Yeah, that's normal for you. It's not cold, but up here they laugh when people are wearing hoodies and jackets in the 40s. I think I would probably wear a jacket if it was in the 40s, but I have a pretty high tolerance for cold, so I could be comfortable walking around in probably the 50s or certainly the 60s, but maybe in the 50s. Once you're down the 40s, maybe not so much for me. But I wouldn't need like a heavy jacket. It would just be something light, just to take the bite off of the wind potentially. And that's as someone who generally wears t-shirts most of the time. So, if I was wearing like an undershirt and a button-up shirt, I'd probably be okay. Okay, I'm looking for a piece here. Oh wait, I already did that step. I confused myself. Now to explain it. But yeah, I love the cold weather, and I really look forward to autumn here, as it starts to get into full swing in October. Last year was really nice because it didn't get super bitter cold at really any point. Only a few days. But it didn't really ever persist, so it was that kind of nice, cool weather the entire time. That wrong. So let's go in here like that. Up here, when it's the wind that will get you, we don't even put up a wind advisory until it's more of a tropical storm of winds. A microburst over drum hours is not uncommon. I always feel like those areas remain so incredibly untamed as to be a little bit scary. Weird. I couldn't believe that fit. That's weird. That's this build design right here with this little bracket piece is the first time I've ever done something like that, and it kind of surprised me that it would work. It's interesting. Untamed, thus unpopulated. That's the way we like it. Yep. And I understand that. I sympathize. Wait, what am I doing here? Oh, I missed a step. This thing. Your largest city is only 65,000. That's insane. Like, the city I live in is small, very small, and it's half that size. But land prices are also pretty good out there. So you can convince people to come out there to buy land cheap. It just comes with the fact that you don't have infrastructure for a lot of things out there. I've lived so much of my life in the area that I'm in now, I don't really think I would change. Don't think I'd be very likely to change, but if I did, I could see myself wanting to go to a less populated area, not a more populated. These kind of weird spear looking things here. I'm assuming this is part of the portcullis. It's so weird, as I know I'm doing a drawbridge here. I don't know what the spikes are for. Maybe it's to just help this thing wind up. It seems to be all it's being used for. It's really interesting. I'm always so fascinated by how Lego designers use specific parts for achieving certain outcomes. It's very strange, like what goes through their mind to do this type of thing. I mean, it might make sense, might make perfect sense. Town close to you is 200 people. The next town's under 4,000. The closest Walmart is more than 2 hours away. Wow. So let me ask this. What does your grocery run look like? Is that a 2-hour grocery run to Walmart, or do you have a market that's closer? Because at that level, when Walmart is a 2 hour, 2 hours away, and you're not going to get to a major city for many things, you're either shipping stuff in via a package delivery service, or you're making a day of it, right? Alright, so this drawbridge thing will sit it's right that it's kind of a counterweight. It needs to sit right in here. How do I put it in there? Up. this. Confused how I actually make that fit. It seems to resist going in. How is this supposed to fit? This is very strange. They make it seem like it's going to be so simple to slide in, but the chains are in the way. So I'm not entirely... Did I do this wrong? I don't think I did. Like I need to sneak this in the back. There we go. That makes sense, I suppose. Perfect. All right. 30 minutes away. You make a Sam's, Costco's run. Well, Sam's Club is basically like Walmart, right? Once a month. It is 3 hours. Oh, sorry. I see. So you got 30 minutes to the local grocer, basically, and then you make a long run 3 hours away. I would assume that you buy a lot of frozen food type stuff at like a Costco, but man, how does it survive the drive back? Do you have coolers you bring, or? I think I'm just hanging this here for the time being. For me, it's a cold bags and coolers, yeah. For me, it's that 5-minute drive into town. So I definitely can't imagine trying to make a run of it. It's so nice to be able to just know that whatever you need is kind of a quick jaunt away. It would just require more planning, I know, realistically. Alright. So it's not really a portcullis, it's just a drawbridge. It drops down and up. The difference is planning for what you need, but we haven't had a murder in 6 years. There you go. Well, I think one of the benefits of where I live is that it's also a low murder rate. Not to say the lowest crime rate. I'm sure there's thefts and robberies and that type of petty crime. My city was basically rocked by a murder like a decade and a half ago. Um, and I don't know that we've actually had. I mean, I don't know what the murder rate is honestly, but it's low out here. Now you go an hour away, get too closer to the city, yeah, it's gonna be higher. But I think it does speak at least a little bit of volumes about where I live, that it was shocking when there was a murder because it was such a rare event, and it was certainly an interesting one in like it was not normal. It wasn't easily solved. It actually took like a decade to solve, more than a decade even maybe. It took a long time for it to be solved because there was no motive, and it actually ended up being a random thing basically. Someone just decided they were going to abduct and murder someone, and it's, you know, there's no way to predict it. There was no way to have a good motive. And so yeah, it was such an odd thing to happen around here. But I honestly don't know what the murder rate is around here. It's got to be low though, thankfully. And certainly random crime is fairly low, but I think that's true of just about anywhere that people are armed as well. You don't just go around breaking into houses when you know that the other side of that might be someone with a firearm, which is kind of how it is around here. Okay. Almost done with this bag as well. Crimes of opportunity grow exponentially with population. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Gotta be. It's also, I think it's not just population, but it's also social cohesion. You know, one of the reasons I feel that cities have such high crime rates ultimately is lack of good social cohesion. And I think when you do have social cohesion, no matter how large the place is, you'll have a lower crime rate for that reason. But I'm sure many government agencies have many statistics and have a better understanding of how all that works. Add some greenery, do the last couple pieces. First big jump in crime happens at 20,000 and the next at 50,000. Interesting. Yeah, it is. It's a very nice little arch. I'll show off the progress on everything here in a moment. But yeah, it looks really neat with the kind of ivy effect. Basically, all these pieces. Alright, that is it. There's my extra pieces. Yeah, show off what we got going on here. So, almost out of battery on this camera, so I can't really do it this way. So I'll do it a different way. So, turn it around. We got a little armory section here, and then closing it. All this entryway stuff on the inside is actually pretty barren right now. There's like a horse stable and whatnot, but it's basically the entrance. And then there'll be some sort of counterweight mechanism or something, but the front has this kind of gate drawbridge thing that will use a pulling motion of this. So it's actually the opposite of what you'd think. Instead of unwinding to lower because it lowers from the top, it winds up to pull it up, basically. So pretty interesting. But that's where that stands right now. It's mostly building up and putting some detailing in, but not a lot of interior is being built with that portion. So, all right. One more of these things. Let's see if I can feel what this one is. Big pieces. Okay. That goes over the top of a minifigure. I think. Where's my little. I think it's the popcorn guy. That's going to be my guess. Popcorn guy. That'd be a good one for my fairground area in my city, to have a popcorn guy. Yep, it is the popcorn guy. So, there we go. That's the other figure. All right. Well, that's 2 bags and a couple of figures. And I think that's a good stopping place. So, thanks for joining me on the stream tonight. And I guess I will see you all in